Hey guys, I am back with Little Man for Sector 5. We are finally getting our way through this conquest. So we're going to go through the feats here. We're going to go look at the bosses and the mini boss. There's only one feat that I can't do in this sector, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, we'll hop in here. So before we look at the feats though, we do want to say thank you so much to my patrons. Honestly, your support is so awesome. You guys are the best, and I appreciate it a ton. Okay, so let's look at these feats for Sector 5. Honestly, they are really straightforward and really simple. Yes, they are. So, you need to defeat 50 enemies with Empire units. This is pretty good because a lot of us have Empire built up, and you're going to be able to double dip on a lot of this with it. Win at least 20 battles without losing any units. Again, very straightforward. You should be able to do this while you're making your way through the sector, with very minimal need for doubling back, if any. Gain damage immunity 40 times. Pretty simple and straightforward. And then attempt to inflict ability block 60 times. Again, really straightforward. There are a ton of characters that can do that for you and that can help you on your way with that. Okay, so let's have a look at the footage. Like I said, there is only one feat that I can't get done. It is on the boss node, and it's to win with Galactic Legend Leia surviving. I don't have her unlocked yet, so I obviously can't do it for you. And chances are, if you do have her unlocked, you probably don't need my help. So let's look at the footage though, and then we'll be done with this series. All right, so let's start with something pretty straightforward, and that is ability blocks. You can see that I'm at 0 out of 60 here. Nothing too crazy as we've been making our way, literally just starting the sector. I do want to show you the discs that I'm using throughout the sector. I'm not going to change them too much here, but we're going to go against that Mando node. And I'm just using the same Volatile Accelerator, Amplify, Agony, Ruthless, Vanguard build that I've kind of mishmashed together to make my way through. And like I said, we'll go against this Mando node here. And I do want to use my Jedi team that I've got built out for this already. So it's just a Jedi Master Luke team, since he has the AoE ability block. And then we're going to be able to call a bunch of people to assist. You don't need Jedi Knight Cal specifically, so feel free to sub him in for anyone else if you want to. I have him there because if you do go against a Darth Revan squad, you can also use this squad to double dip for damage immunity. But that is another story. So essentially all you're going to do, you want the AoE with Jedi Master Luke because we've got the AoE ability block there. Old Ben has his AoE ability block, and then Mace and Bastilla have an AoE on their basics. So whenever it's their turn, I'm just going to do their basic, and when it's somebody else's turn, I am going to call one of them to assist so that they do their basic. And then that way I can kind of keep applying ability block that way. And again, just make our way really nicely and honestly cleanly through this node, because we're doing so much damage from Jedi Master Luke's leadership. And then that way we can rack up some ability blocks. And like I said, if you use this team against a Darth Revan squad, you will get damage immunity as well. So you will be able to double dip that way. So we were at 60 or 0 out of 60, going into that node. And now we're at 17. So not bad for honestly just one fight. Okay, moving on. Let's have a look now at Empire and ability blocks. So I'm at 20 and 10. So 20 ability blocks and 10 enemies have died from Empire units. And I'm just going to go in with an Empire team on this Rey squad. And this one is pretty accessible. So it's going to be a Palpatine lead, which works really nicely with Volatile Accelerator, because you're going to feed your whole turn meter so much, or team so much turn meter from the debuffs. Ninth Sister honestly is there just to tank, but you can put any strong tank there as you see fit. Darth Vader obviously is the one that's going to be doing all of the ability blocking, so you're able to get that feat done at the same time. And Thrawn here, honestly, just to take the turn and pass the turn to Darth Vader. So once Darth Vader has his turn here, we're going to go into Merciless Massacre. And honestly, I would just basic in Merciless Massacre. I wouldn't do anything else because that way you can get credit for the ability blocks. Keep in mind that any kills that you get when you're trying to inflict debuffs, any debuffs, if you get the kill shot on the same turn, it won't apply to your count. So that is where things like Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony can hurt you because you just go through the nodes so quickly. But we got a full 5 kills, so it's fine. Okay, carrying on, we're at 17 ability block, 0 out of 50 Empire on this account, and 1 damage immunity. So this is a squad that's going to work on theoretically 3 of the feats at once. You'll be able to do ability block, damage immunity, and Empire kills with 1, which is Inquisitors. I know it's not anybody's favorite, but they're honestly just so good that I have to recommend using them. Not only do they just steamroll nodes and make it really easy to get through Conquest, they just are so effective at this. So you have an ability block on 7th Sister, her middle ability there. That is an ability block, so you'll use that. Obviously, they're all tagged Empire, so any one of them getting the kills would get you credit towards that feat there. And then 5th Brother is actually able to give himself damage immunity. It's his 2nd special. You do need 3 stacks of Purge, though, on the enemy for it to stick. So that's the only reason why I didn't use it, and I chose to basic instead. So if you were at 3 stacks of Purge minimum, then I would have used it, and you would have gotten credit for damage immunity as well. So keep that in mind if you do decide to use your Inquisitors. You can take advantage of that too. And so we'll just go have a look real quick. We should have only gotten 1 ability block and then another 5 Empire kills. Perfect. Okay, and another damage immunity team that you can take in, honestly, it's really the only reason I'm showing it is like a little bit of a obvious mention, and I more so want to point out the node. I'm going to go against this First Order squad. Make sure, if you can, find a First Order squad in Sector 5 because you'll be able to cheese a ton of the damage immunity on it. So Jedi Master Kenobi is going to be able to get you damage immunity. He's obviously able to hand it off to whichever unit he decides with his special. So I'm just taking them against this node so that I have it on my path and I can come back to it later. And we can kind of cheese against it in a way. But really, you're only going to get 1, maybe 2 if you really draw out the battle. If you really, really, really draw out the battle, maybe 3 with Kenobi. Again, I really just wanted to have the node here. And you can see when we come out that we've gotten just an extra 1. Nothing crazy, but again, priority was getting that node. Okay, so another damage immunity, and this one will count towards your global Hutt Cartel. If you have a Jabba squad, you can go in with your typical Jabba squad. It doesn't necessarily need to be Jabba here. The key thing is taking Chrysanthemum. But I'm using this squad in particular so I can get the Hutt Cartel wins. And essentially what will happen is as soon as you get your contract here with Hutt Cartel, Chrysanthemum gets damage immunity. So you can see it right there on him. And you're good. So you get 1. You get a tick towards your Hutt Cartel wins. So it's a double dip in that regard. And then you can carry on and make your way through the sector cleanly. Okay, so another team that works really well for damage immunity is your Grievous droids. So Grievous, honestly, is so much fun just in general. Normally, when I see a Grand Inquisitor team, I would recommend going in with Phoenix on them so you can get credit for that global feat. But you can also use General Grievous to counter them. And you're going to take Droideka and Jango for your 4th and 5th. So leave Magna Guard off the squad and leave Newt off the squad. Take those 2 in particular. So Jango's going to start the battle with damage immunity right away because he gets his contract right away whenever he is underneath a Separatist lead. And then obviously Droideka can go into damage immunity with her special. So you're able to get that there, and then you can get 2 in one fight as well with them, and also do this while you're going through the sector instead of having to go back for it later on. Really straightforward. Like I said, it works really nicely against Grand Inquisitor, also works nicely against Starkiller. Okay, so this is why we wanted the First Order node. You can see I've got 23 out of 40 damage immunity. That was all just naturally gained making my way through Sector 5. That wasn't any cheese. Now we're going to go back to that First Order node, and we're going to use a Rebel Squad kind of mishmash here. So I chose to go in with CLS Han. Wasn't too sure if I wanted to take Chewie. I knew I definitely wanted Droideka for damage immunity. And then I wanted to take in Watt just to kind of force a taunt if possible. So I was going to pull Chewie out here and take a tank. And I chose to use Jedi Master Luke just because I wanted somebody that would really truly be able to take any hits that kind of went his way, and I want it to be safe. So first things first that I will point out, I had a complete airhead moment going into this battle, and I actually forgot that I have a Voluntary Vanguard disc equipped. Completely forgot which account I was in. So you don't necessarily need Watt there if that is the case and your tank happens to be the tankiest. So keep that in mind. So you are going to time out on this, and essentially all you do is stun lock crew here, and Droideka is just going to go into damage immunity every single time she can with her special. You will time out, like I said. I did not want to give Droideka the weapons tech. I thought about it because you would be able to theoretically get more turns whenever the enemy took a turn because of that, to kind of speed up the cooldown sort of on her a little bit. I just didn't want to risk her doing damage to crew and killing him, and I just really didn't want to risk anything with it. So I was like, you know what? No tech, it's fine. It will be more than enough. So you can see literally all Droideka does is basic. I don't want to do the big hit, just basic and roll into damage immunity. And you cannot chew through crew. I've got the volatile accelerator discs. I've got 3 amplify agony on at this point, and a caustic emissions and a voluntary vanguard, and that's it. And you cannot chew through him with this squad. So you will time out. It will just sit there. Like I said, I was at 23 out of 40. And when we finished this fight here, timing out, I'm now at 30 out of 40. So we got 7 in one fight. It's not bad at all. Okay. Here are the discs now that I've got equipped here. So this is before I picked up my final Amplify Agony. So I'm still running that kind of janky, weird build that I've got going on. But we're going to go in on the mini boss. So this is a trooper node, and you need to win with only dark side characters, and you also need to win with Tarfful surviving. Obviously, they're going to respawn themselves. They have 5 stacks of respawning themselves. Wasn't too sure in terms of dark side what exactly I wanted to use. I figured Grievous would be able to do it though, so I was going to go in with this Grievous squad with Newt as the 5th. You could take Django realistically if you wanted to double dip for that damage immunity. I just wanted to make sure I could kind of get this win done, so to speak. So again, this is the first time going through it. The voluntary vanguard on Grievous doesn't help, so I would suggest taking that off so that doesn't happen. But honestly, once you get going, even with Grievous gone, it was very smooth with the AoEs and the Amplify Agony. You just kind of tear through the troopers pretty quickly, and then it's Dark Trooper just kind of sitting there. So not a perfect result because obviously Grievous died, but if that hadn't been a voluntary vanguard disc mishap, it would have been fine. And again, it was the first time going in on the node, so I felt okay with it since you have to go in again with Tarfful since he's light side. So using the exact same disc setup, I'm going in again right away, and I want to try the Bam Han Chewie mishmash that I like to do with Tarfful. Tarfful is gear 12. I wasn't too sure if this would be enough, to be honest, because of the respawning. So if you are unfamiliar with this, the idea is with BAM's Leadership Zeta, you're able to generate so much turn meter from debuffs with Volatile Accelerator that you just kind of keep taking turns with the debuff train and have it go from there. They do take a couple of turns, you can see here, but honestly, once Dash takes his turn and does his AoE, it's usually pretty much game over. Again, I like to have the turn meter widget open just so that I can keep going after the next enemy and not have to worry about necessarily my turn meter train breaking up. Really fun thing here, since Tarfful is on the squad with Chewie, is Chewie gets to take advantage of any Wookiee bonuses Tarfful's giving him, especially with his abilities. But honestly, not in danger pretty much at all. Bam's got the mark on him from the Vanguard disc, and it's pretty clean. And now we've got the 3 stars now on this node. Okay, so let's talk about this boss, because there is a lot to unpack here. So you need to win without using a Galactic Legend, but you get a player modifier, which is this prime and set charge thing. So essentially, when you're doing this, you're going to be slowed down, and then when you take your next turn, you can only set the charge. You can't do any of your actual usual moves. And then here, you can't kill the ATST until 3 explosive charges have been set. So you need to do that 3 times. Anyone who's died, so the scout troopers, are going to revive themselves and be back at full health and protection. And after that, you have to kill the ATST before it takes 10 turns. Otherwise, you will lose. So there's a lot going on here. There's also a 75% chance that cooldowns are increased by 1. So just a whole bunch to go on. Obviously, I can't do the Leia feat, so we're only going to look at doing this without a Galactic Legend. And I wanted to do something that would be able to take out the ATST with a fair amount of damage. So I am going in. These are my discs here. I have the 3 Amplify Agony now, Volatile Accelerator, Caustic Emissions. And I figured that, you know what, I might as well use a couple of consumables because I have them. So I am going to put an offense booster on just because why not? And I'm going to put a protection med pack on because also why not? I figured I wanted to go in, I wanted to 3-star this, and I wanted, again, to make sure I survived and was doing enough damage once I did set those charges to kill the ATST before it had taken its 10 turns. I wasn't too sure how fast it was going to be. I wasn't too sure how I was going to do with this, so I figured, why? Just better safe than sorry. I am going to use a Padme Cat team because I wanted Cat to be able to do her big leap on the ATST. I wanted that to be where a lot of my damage was coming from, and she would hopefully be able to ramp some of it while we were making our way through the battle. So pretty straightforward. We're going to do Yoda there as on the team, C-3PO just to kind of help us with the cooldowns, help us with calling to assist. And then I did put some stim packs on because I want everybody at 100% stamina. Honestly, like I look back at it now and I probably overdid it in terms of using an offense booster and a protection booster and bringing my stamina back up, especially with this disc buildup, but it worked out in the end. So essentially, you've got this ATST, you've got the 2 troopers on the side here, and you're just going to wait and take your turn. And then I figured I need to start setting these charges. I wasn't too sure if I wanted Kat to set one. Wasn't too sure if I wanted to, get her offense rolling. I figured that the faster I can get through these charges, the better. So I have Kat setting one. You can see that little blue buff above her. I did choose to have C-3PO set one. And then I chose to just clear the debuffs off my team here and then have Yoda set the next charge. And then from there, just go after the troopers. We can't damage the ATST here. We have to wait and we need to set the 3 charges. So even though I'm priming them right now, they're not actually set. So I still can't damage them. I need Kat, C-3PO, and Yoda to take a turn, set them, and then we're good to go. So it kind of worked out, to be honest, that Padme and Kenobi weren't setting the charges, because then I was able to still cleanse debuffs if needed. Now that all three are set, we will be able to, or sorry, Yoda still needs to set his, and then we'll be able to damage the ATST. So again, just waiting. At this point though, I realized I don't need to pay any attention to the troopers now. Even with them, if they weren't in stealth, I would not pay any attention to them whatsoever. So we are now in the clear. We can damage the ATST, and I am just going to go all in on it. The troopers are going to die by themselves to burning and dots, so I'm going to ignore them, go all in on this ATST, and then I'll be able to use Kat's big hit on it, and that will take us down a good chunk. But you can see at this point too, like, he's already in the yellow. We've got tons of dots built up on him, and it will be completely fine. This was definitely an interesting boss because it's a little bit of a puzzle, but also I think was more overhyped in terms of difficulty. It's pretty straightforward to get through though, if you can just keep your team alive long enough. Okay guys, that's it. That's Sector 5. So we are done with this Conquest series. Hopefully this was helpful. I know it started off really rocky, and I'm hopeful that the next 2 runs of these feats don't start off that rocky and we are good to go, and we can just kind of take everything we learned this time and apply it. If you are at all struggling, please feel free to hop in the Discord server, because there are so many of us that are willing to help out and brainstorm with you. If you are using other team comps, definitely drop them below, because if there's anything that I didn't mention or didn't work for me, but maybe it's working for you with a different disc setup, it could definitely help somebody else as well. And yeah, and that's basically it. So hopefully this was helpful, and thanks for watching, guys. Say goodbye.